Today on Investigate TV Plus, a product you can find in gas stations and corner stores is being used to get high.
I had no clue how unsafe it was.
Our investigation uncovers the dangers of nitrous oxide and why this father says a legal loophole fueled his daughter's addiction.
Plus, avoiding the road to frustration, how you can be your own investigator to miss traffic jams on your next trip.
And stick to kindness.
Your smile and laugh bring such light into this world. I'm so glad you exist.
How a teen's small gesture is making a big impact. In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
Experts say a drug you'd normally find in your dentist office is getting abused on the street.
Nitrous oxide is a colorless and slightly sweet-smelling gas classified as an inhalant.
Users breathe in nitrous oxide from whipped cream containers, giving them the nickname Whippets. Data from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration shows nitrous oxide is the most widely used inhalant. Unlike other illicit drugs, SAMHSA says children 12 to 17 use inhalants more than any other age group. Nitrous oxide can be found in gas stations and corner stores and is often marketed and sold as a whipped cream ingredient.
It's that easy availability that has some concerned, as long-term use can have devastating effects.
Reporter Rob Krieger speaks with a father who says the drug put his daughter in the hospital and shares his warning to other parents.
Bright colors, bubbly logos, packing a punch.
It hits like crack cocaine hits.
Boasting video game designs with on-demand gratification.
It's instant, it's right there, and then it's gone.
With candy-like flavors.
You continuously want that high.
Blueberry mango.
You snap back really, really quick.
Vanilla cupcake, watermelon lemonade.
And you just want another one.
Within reach.
You can go get them right down the street.
On shelves at corner stores and smoke shops.
You're spending all your money.
Sometimes offered with a complimentary mouthpiece.
You don't even have to have cash. You can use a credit card.
Users say it brings up a brief but fleeting euphoria.
Just wasting it away, and it's just gone as fast as you can spend it.
In a breath, it's over.
Most people know it as laughing gas.
Chemically known as nitrous oxide, health educator Dr. Eric Griggs says medical professionals have used the gas safely in clinical settings for more than 250 years.
The unfortunate thing is, for the exact number of centuries that it's been used, it's also been abused.
Greg Comble sees that firsthand.
This stuff has taken over my daughter and everything that she ever knew.
He believes his daughter started abusing nitrous oxide when she was 18 years old.
She only did a little bit at a time, maybe parties and stuff like that, and it grew to be a very big problem, a genuine addiction.
It's because people get a euphoric high. That's why they do it. It may work on opiate receptors, the way that the ketamine does.
Dr. Amir Gharikani, an associate professor in the Department of Psychiatry at Yale University, says frequent nitrous oxide users risk potentially fatal or life-altering consequences.
There have been many, many cases in emergency rooms and hospitals of people presenting with nerve damage, with blood diseases, with psychosis, mania, other psychiatric presentations.
She is so addicted to this stuff that she just totally avoids her family and all of her friends now. It's ridiculous. When we do see her, she's shaking. She can't even eat a piece of pizza without it almost falling out of her mouth. She's doing really bad. She's been in rehab 3 times.
In just 3 weeks after his daughter moved out, Comble says he removed a horde of empty tanks from her new apartment, each one a tally of the toll on his daughter's life.
We calculated, this is $1,800 worth of product right here in a 3-week time that she's moved out and been living in an apartment with a roommate.
This man, who's currently battling an addiction to nitrous, agreed to speak candidly with us about the gas anonymously.
Some days I can spend $300 on it. I know users that'll spend $1,000 in a day.
He says he's used nitrous oxide recreationally for more than a decade, but he says it's only recently that his abuse of the gas became a problem, when nitrous tanks like these showed up in New Orleans neighborhood shops.
So found out about these, you know, it was kind of easy access.
Dr. Garicani believes increased access to nitrous oxide, like these larger format cylinders, could contribute to more frequent use.
The biggest impediment to people using in the old days was that access to cartridges and how expensive it was. But if people have access to tanks now,
you don't feel like you're doing something wrong. You know, you're buying it at the store, you know, so you don't have that kind of shame if you were buying other drugs.
Once addicted to crack cocaine, he says because you can buy this vice over the counter, his addiction to nitrous is far worse.
Because not anyone can just walk into a crack house at any time.
However, nitrous oxide is considered harmful enough that in clinical settings, the regulations to administer it start long before the mask goes on.
14 hours of didactic or academic learning plus 6 hours of actual doing cases to get yourself a personal nitrous permit.
Dr. Greg Phillips has practiced dentistry in Lutcher for 43 years. He says dental offices can't use nitrous oxide or dispense it in any way without having a personal permit issued by the Louisiana State Board of Dentistry.
We have to document who uses and how long, okay? So it is very highly regulated for us.
But when it comes to buying it for a different use, there's no permit. In fact, while Louisiana law spells out it's illegal to inhale, ingest, or possess nitrous oxide, it provides 3 exceptions: when used by a licensed medical or dental practitioner, as part of a manufacturing process or industrial operation, and if the nitrous oxide is intended to be used as a propellant in food preparation, like when making whipped cream.
I mean, that's just it's a way to bypass the law.
This stuff is all made for kids to inhale.
While nearly every tank we saw has a warning against inhaling the gas somewhere on the tank, addicts say that's just a thread through a loophole in the law.
I don't really know what you could even do with these other than suck them down.
It's incredibly dangerous, and yes, they should regulate it, and I think it should be done on a federal level.
Combo feels once people understand the real threat of nitrous, regulations may help save someone else's daughter in the future. But without any promise for a change in law, he feels it allows businesses to keep supplying a high.
I worry about her, you know, every minute of the day. I feel like I'm gonna lose her every day. I want my daughter to grow up and live a good life and have a family, but she's running herself in the ground. And there's nothing I can do about it.
After interviewing Greg Comble, his daughter agreed to speak to us. Still ahead on Investigate TV Plus, we sit down with her and find out her journey is far from over.
I was just doing it back to back, every 30 seconds or so, the entire day. I wouldn't even get up out of the bed.
Plus, the science behind the dangerous drug, from the first time to long-term use, how nitrous oxide can have devastating consequences. They're commonly called whippets, where users inhale nitrous oxide from whipped cream containers, many times using balloons.
Access to them could be to blame for a drug crisis with startling statistics. According to data from the 2021 Global Drug Survey, almost 10% of the worldwide population used nitrous oxide within the last year of the report. Access to the gas has parents and doctors worried about the devastating effects of long-term use. Doctors say inhaling nitrous can deplete the body of vitamin B12.
There can be all kind of nervous damage, cerebral damage, cardiovascular implications.
The body needs B12 to nourish the nervous system. As the gas inactivates the essential nutrient, it depletes the supply that could last for years in just a fraction of the time.
People look like they've had spinal cord injuries. It can start as simple as something called neuropathy in their like tingling sensations in their extremities, their arms and legs, and to having problems with muscle pains and nerve pains like in their legs, and difficulty walking, to the point where people sometimes become bedbound.
A 24-year-old woman addicted to nitrous oxide experienced many of those symptoms.
A few weeks after reporter Rob Krieger spoke to her father, Jenna Campbell agreed to an interview in hopes other young people will heed her warning.
We found her in her apartment, not having any feeling from her waist down.
She couldn't lift her legs off the bed.
She couldn't walk.
If you move her foot up and down, she couldn't tell which direction you were moving it.
Seeing her carted off in an ambulance was a father's worst nightmare.
Not everyone sees total resolution of symptoms.
We didn't even know if she was ever going to walk again.
I'm here in the hospital because I am paralyzed.
Jenna Campbell is 24 years old.
I can't walk because I was doing whippets, which is nitrous oxide.
She says her abuse of nitrous started about 5 years ago.
I really liked it from the first one.
At 19, Campbell says her use was infrequent, and the gas came from cartridges like these.
I had no clue how unsafe it was.
But she claims she never really felt side effects until large tanks of nitrous oxide appeared at gas stations and smoke shops in Jefferson Parish about a year ago.
They started making the tanks, which is more intense, so it's more direct, and you get more nitrous. So I think that's whenever things changed. It progressively got worse for me.
The beginning of October, she started using it daily.
Dr. Archie Melcher is a general neurologist at East Jefferson General Hospital, part of a team of medical providers treating Campbell after she was hospitalized because of her nitrous oxide abuse.
The effects of nitrous oxide they're rapid in onset. You feel this euphoria. It doesn't last long, so they seek out another episode of euphoria.
Melcher calls incessant use like Campbell's an addiction.
I was just doing it back to back, every 30 seconds or so, the entire day. I wouldn't even get up out of the bed.
Until November 6th, when her father, Greg Campbell, found her in her apartment, bedbound, facing the devastating consequences of nitrous abuse.
We rescued her out of there finally, and she came here to East Jefferson Hospital where she's getting the best care possible.
Still, seeing his daughter in a wheelchair is a painful reminder for Greg Campbell of the toll nitrous oxide has played on his family's lives.
My daughter can't walk. It's about a life and death situation.
He says his daughter is finally fighting back against her nitrous dependency, finding purpose and recovery and courage through speaking about the addiction.
Talk to your kids, talk to your family, explain what it is to them and the risks.
Risks she feels every day now, practicing movement without falling or a few assisted steps. Still with little feeling in her legs, all because of an addiction she says was aided by easy access.
It's made to abuse. It's crazy that you can go to a gas station and buy this stuff, especially because it did so much damage to my body.
She thinks the companies that are manufacturing these things know how much damage they can cause, and while there are warning labels on the tanks, she claims those companies are disingenuous when it comes to the risks or the intention to use this for whipped cream, arguing the marketing of the products makes it clear they intend to supply a high.
I think they know that people are abusing them and they are making a lot of money off of it.
A fortune, Greg Campbell says, nearly killed his little girl.
They're definitely selling it for people to inhale. This has got nothing to do with food making. They're making millions of dollars on ruining everybody's lives.
Now we want to go in-depth on the nitrous oxide canisters, so let's bring in reporter Rob Krieger. Rob, the canisters clearly say on the label for food purposes only. Are people using it to make whipped cream?
I spoke to a chef who's worked in restaurants for more than 3 decades. He told me even if he wanted to use nitrous oxide to make whipped cream, tanks like the ones we highlighted are excessive, so we decided to do the math. A quick comparison to a store brand can of whipped cream shows about 74 servings in a 13-ounce can, a can that would only take about 6.5 grams of nitrous oxide to make. But this tank is 2,000 grams. That means if portioned out similarly, you could make approximately 22,792 servings of whipped cream with this watermelon nitrous alone.
What are state and federal governments now doing to address this?
Well, each state has its own law regulating nitrous oxide. We found they're largely similar across the country. In 2021, New York, though, banned the sale of cartridges to anyone under 21. That same year, a California congresswoman introduced legislation that would examine its own state laws and whether they're effective. And some cities, like Los Angeles, have even increased the penalty for selling nitrous oxide to a minor.
Thanks, Rob. You can watch Rob's interview with a New York lawmaker who penned the state law banning sales to people under 21, and you can keep up with Jenna Comble's progress in her recovery. Head to InvestigateTV.com and search Supplying a High.
Still ahead on Investigate TV Plus, a different kind of post is getting a lot of positive reaction on social media.
So I think it just goes to show how the little things can really turn into the big things.
How this teen is spreading kindness beyond her hometown.
Plus, a simple step could save you precious time on the road. How you can be your own investigator to avoid traffic delays on your next trip.
It's one of the worst parts of many people's day, sitting in traffic. According to Bankrate, in 2022, Americans spent 239 hours commuting to and from work. The report analyzed hours lost and the cost from fuel to maintenance. It found the overall worst U.S. city for commuters is Detroit. The best? Buffalo, New York. Whether you're heading to work or taking off for a vacation, it doesn't take a fortune teller to see whether you'll run into delays.
Reporter Josie Sturman shows us how you can be your own investigator so you don't get caught in a jam.
Whether you're commuting to work or headed out for a family vacation, long lines of brake lights are never what you want to see after hitting the road. There may not be a way to prevent those bumper-to-bumper backups, but in this Be Your Own Investigator, we've got some tips to help you find out what you're getting into before hitting the road or how long you're going to be stuck in that jam. You've probably seen traffic cameras on the local news, but state transportation departments often have hundreds of cameras along major highways and interstates, and many cities also have them at important intersections. Day or night, a live look at how bad that rush hour traffic is or road conditions are during a major weather event, it's right at your fingertips. These public camera feeds can usually be found on a state's DOT website or through a quick internet search. Many of these sites have the option to plan a route, showing you road conditions along the way. You can bookmark these web pages, or there are often mobile apps to download right on your smartphone. And some states, like Florida, will let you sign up for mobile or text alerts about construction, crashes, or rush hour slowdowns. Most of the time, these live feeds do not record, but if you are in a crash, it may be worth it to find out if any traffic cameras may have captured the action. Obviously, if you're in the driver's seat, you want to keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. A majority of states now have very strict hands-free device laws, but you can always have a passenger check out what's going on, or you can go the old-fashioned route and tune into the Federal Traffic Information System on AM radio. You usually see those blue signs on the interstate telling you the frequency. And finally, even if you know the route where you're going, using your phone's GPS directions will often help you avoid backups by rerouting you around slowdowns and crashes. With this Be Your Own Investigator, I'm Josie Sturman.
Still ahead on Investigate TV Plus, a positive post.
They just have little positive messages on them to encourage people throughout the day and remind them that they're loved.
What inspired this teen's messages of kindness and how she plans to share them with the world. Here on Investigate TV Plus, we want to leave you on a positive note, literally.
Reporter Dave Mattingly shows us how a teen is using Post-it notes to deliver some kindness.
In a place where others might be thinking about shopping, Brooklyn Riley is giving.
They just have little positive messages on them to encourage people throughout the day and remind them that they're loved.
The 16-year-old writes Post-it note messages of compassion and support.
Your smile and laugh bring such light into this world. I'm so glad you exist.
And she leaves them stuck to the car windows of random strangers.
We always get really good reactions out of it. people who say how much they needed to hear the messages. So I think once you feel that feeling once, you know that it feels better than almost receiving yourself.
But what started over a year ago with a single impulsive post-it has taken on a life of its own. 1,500 post-it notes later, even Brooklyn's mom can't believe it.
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, she was just born with it. I never expected it. She just, like I said, she inspires me every day just to be a better person. She's amazing.
People magazine thought so too. Their October issue named Brooklyn to their list of girls changing the world. What did that mean to you?
It was pretty surreal because People magazine is so huge, and it just seemed like it was something so small I had started, but it had come so far. It was something that I never expected. So I think it just goes to show how the little things can really turn into the big things.
Brooklyn also started a line of merchandise promoting the phrase, "Stick to kindness." The money goes to a charity promoting mental health of kids. And as we followed her through a parking lot in Middletown, we find that even Brooklyn isn't sure which car will get her attention.
I don't know. Sometimes I see, like, I don't know if they have little sayings on the back of their car with stickers, but usually it's just whichever cars are empty that we can get to.
But we do know that when one of her post-its finds a home, it will have a message anyone can appreciate.
Just because someone carries it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. Love one another always.
I love it when you see a young person doing something kind.
And look, she had her mom speechless, really. Like, her mom says she's just an incredible person. I love her doing that, and hey, maybe we'll get one in our cars one day.
Maybe.
You never know.
Hopefully it'll catch on.
Yes, hope so.
Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, America's trucking industry faces a bumpy road.
Right now across America, we're looking at probably around the range of 80,000 truck drivers are needed at the moment.
We take an in-depth look at a shortage of truck drivers and the impacts you're seeing every day.